Okay, I'm going to do an example of a binomial expansion. This, I wrote out here quickly, is just, that can be found in your log tables. I think it's on page 20. I'll put it in on the question so you won't have to see it anyway. But we just have to know how to use it. Okay, and a lot of this can be confusing, but don't worry about it. If you remember the pattern I've taught you, you should be fine. So I'm just going to do an example on what question to compare it to. So this is on page 18. Page 18, and I think it's 1 part 6. Okay, and it has 1 minus 3x to the 4, and just to expand this using a binomial expansion. So we have it. The first thing, helpful thing to do is to make sure we know what x, y, and n are at the start. So I'm just going to write them over here. So x is just 1, and y is equal to, well, y is minus 3x. It's important that I have the minus there because we're going to need that. And then n is just 4. Okay, that's it there. So it's all this, and now we're going to put it into this. So if we have 1 minus 3x to the 4, it's going to equal to this. Now this is just this little thing. Remember, we add this into our calculator, and n just starts at 4, and then it goes down. You can see. So this is going to be 4 the whole way, and then it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 along the bottom. So I'm just going to do that, or maybe here. So that's going to be n is 4 over 0. The next one is going to have 4 over 1. The next one is going to be 4 over 2. Space 4 over 3, and do it down here, sure. 4 over 4. Okay, and these we'll put these in our calculator, and they'll just point us to coefficients in front, and that's just all these are. Now, if you remember our pattern here, all this does is it looks at the first thing that we have as x, and it starts at the highest number, in which case is 4, and then it just goes decreases. So it's going to be 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. So I'm going to put that in. Well, x is just 1. Yeah, and then x, so that's 1 to the 4, which is just 1. And then this is 1 to the 3, and then that's 1 to the 2, and then that's 1 to the 1, and this one is 1 to the 0, which is all still 1. They're all 1. So that's not going to change anything. Okay? And then in this case, there's nothing here. And that's because what we start is y is to the 0, and that just makes 1, so we don't have to put that in. So that one's finished. But now this one, y start at 0, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one is just y, which is going to be minus 3x, because that's what y is. This one will be y squared, which is going to be minus 3x squared. And this one will be cubed, so that's going to be minus 3x cubed. And then finally, this one is going to be to the 4, so minus 3x to the 4. Okay, so see that. Okay, and it's important that I've put all these in brackets, because the brackets are going to make a difference when I'm bringing in this indice. And that's it all done. So let's look at the first term, and let's work out what they all are. So if you remember, for these, they have a calculator. These we just press the top button in. It's 4, and then we do our NCOR, which is here on my calculator. So I shift NCOR. You can see it comes up with this big C and 0, and that should give me 1. That'll be the coefficient. And we expect 1 to be here, and this is going to be 1 as well. We remember how it is. But either way, that'll tell us all the answer. So, our first thing, our first term of this expansion is just going to equal to 1, because that's 1 multiplied by 1 to the 4 is still just 1. And then we're going to plus. So this one now. So now again, we're going to use our calculator. 4, NCOR, and the bottom one is 1. That will give me my second one, and that tells me 4. So 4. And then what else? Well, there was 1 cubed, which is just 1. And then there's minus 3x. Okay, and I'm going to do these out on the next line. I'm just going to take one step at a time, because I don't want to do too much and get confused. So then my next term, again, 4, shift NCOR, and then 2. That gives me my coefficient, which is 6. Again, 1 squared is just 1, and so we're left with then minus 3x squared. Okay, there's the third term. Here the fourth term. Again, so we have 4, shift NCOR, 3. And that's going to give me 4, which we know, if you remember, they're symmetrical. So it goes 1, 4, 6, and then it'll go 4 and 1 again. So that's a 4. And what do we have? Well, we still have the 1 and minus 3x this time cubed. And finally, my last one. And finally, my last one is going to have a coefficient again of 1. This is going to give you a coefficient of 1. and then 1 to the 0 is still just 1, and so it's just going to be minus 3x to the 4. So there are all my terms. Now I just have to tidy them up. 1 is just 1, so in this case I'm just going to multiply all my numbers, so the coefficients in here. So that's 4 multiplied by minus 3, which is important. So that's just going to give me minus 12x. Okay, and this time the first thing I have to do, if you remember your bird mass, I'm going to have to do the indice first. So I'm going to have to take that in, and minus 3, because that goes to both. So there's going to be an x squared there. And minus 3 squared is plus 9. So I have 9 multiplied by 6, which is 54. X squared, and then that's done. And then again we're going to do this. Our cube is going to have to move in, so that's going to be x cubed. And this time I have 3 cubed, which is 9 by 3, which is 27. And a minus by a minus by a minus is a minus again. So this is going to give me 27. And if you ever get confused, just stick it into your calculator. Use brackets. So brackets minus 3 bracket cubed. You'll see will be minus 27. And I have to multiply that by 4. And we get our answer of minus 108. I don't know if you can see that in the calculator, but it's there. So that was minus 108. Sorry, you'll get rid of that. 108. Okay. And then I know that this one is going to be positive again because it's to the 4th power. So all I have to do is stick in my calculator 3, and do shift to the 4, and that's going to be 81 plus 81x to the 4. And that's it. Okay, that's all of it done. Binomial expansion.